Hey everyone, today we're talking Poor Man's Food Plots and what we used and how we went about doing this Poor Man's Food Plot in 2024. Stay with us. Hello there and welcome back to the channel. Ryan Nordahl here, Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. If you haven't yet, or you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell notification. That way every time I upload one of these videos, you get that notification right away. And hey, if you stay to the end and find this video to be helpful, give it a like and give it a share. There's always people out there, even if you don't know them, that are looking for pieces of information and education like I like to share here. But anyway, today we're in a Hall Pass plot from Domain Outdoor, Hall Pass being the name of the product that we used in this particular food plot. But I'm going to break down the steps of what it took to establish this plot. We established this plot now about 4 weeks ago, and it was strictly a poor man's plot. I come in here with nothing but a backpack sprayer. This is about, probably about 1/3 of an acre plot. It's not a half acre, but it's definitely more than 1/4 of an acre. The first thing I did is I come in here about the beginning of June and I started a weed control program. I think I applied, I think I applied 2 applications of Roundup and 2,4-D. I could have come in here with Liberty to help control the mare's tail, but that's where I opted for 2,4-D instead of Liberty. I just didn't think about Liberty at the moment, and somebody reminded me of that in a post that I made earlier this week in a live video on my Facebook page. But we sprayed it a couple different times this summer. We had great weed control in here, but then the rains come in July, of course, and then we got the heat on top of it. And I mean, at the end of July, one of the last sprays I did on this plot, I had excellent weed kill, but then by the time we got it planted in the middle of August, which would have been 2 weeks after, 2 to 3 weeks, I had weeds that were 3-4 foot tall, the mare's tail that was. But we sprayed it again. We had a decent kill, I wouldn't say the best. But what did we do? Well, I come in here, I broadcast my seed anyway. Did my fertilizer amendments. I had to apply a little bit of liquid lime as well. Now, why would I use liquid fertilizer and liquid lime when my weeds are still tall? Well, I tell you, the way it's made up and the way it's applied, especially with liquid lime, that liquid lime will dry on that vegetation. Once a rain comes, it'll wash down into the soil profile, and that's the result that we see here. But after we did all of that, did our seeding, broadcast seeding, and then our soil amendments, fertilizer, lime, we come in here with our steel weed trimmer and we knocked the weeds down, created a mulch layer, and here's the results. We're now 3 to 4 weeks after we've seeded this, and I will say it's a lot thicker than I normally like it, but I didn't care at the time. I wanted to make sure that I had something growing. No, with the brassicas that are in here, the turnips and the radishes that are in here, we probably won't see the bulbs because of how tight everything is in here, but we've got the diversity in here of the leafy greens. We've got the leafy greens of the brassicas, we've got the rye in here, and that rye is going to carry us through till next spring, along with the annual clovers, a little bit of perennial clover that's in the mix of Hall Pass. That's going to carry us over until next spring. When we come in here, we will probably do a frost seeding sometime at the end of February, March, or beginning April. Frost seed this with a combination of Comeback Kid and Hot Chick from Domain Outdoor, and we'll get a nice clover plot in here. What will we do with the rye? terminate that with the grass herbicide after it gets up 6 to 8 inches tall next spring. This is a great area though, you know, not just from an aesthetics view of my property or anything like that. We get deer in here. It's lineal to the neighbor's soybean field that's just to the north here. These deer will congregate in here, and they already are, but they'll really be attracted to this at the end of October through November when the beans are off on the neighbors and the corn. That's the whole thing. That's one of the biggest things I see from a lot of people, a lot of naysayers, if you will, on social media. You know, why do you go through the effort of planting all these food plots when you're surrounded by ag? Well, I tell you what, when those ag crops come off here in the next few weeks into November, when they come off, this will be the only food in this area in about a half mile to a mile radius around here. This will be the only green food sources left. Really the only food source left, whether it's green food plot like this or some of the other grains that we have in some of our other food plots in strategic locations. That's why we do food plots. That's why I like Hall Pass for this, and that's how we established this Hall Pass food plot back in August. And the results right now of the vegetative growth that we have here. This is going to be a great food plot this fall. You want to check it out next year and make it part of your food plot program. That's the steps that we used. Again, it was simply a poor man's application. You don't need heavy equipment to establish really any of these food plots that we're doing, as long as you have great weed control. Now, this is a little bit weedier, you know, than we'd like, but deer don't care. The majority of it is still Hall Pass. I would say 90 to 92% of this plot is green Hall Pass food plot. There's a little bit of patches of pigweed in here that I see, some lamb's quarter, and a little bit of foxtail. I can live with that. It's still picture perfect that you would want to see in an outdoor magazine. Check out Hall Pass, you won't be disappointed. Maybe you'll want to implement it next year in your food plot program. And hey, there's still time. There's going to be corn coming off here in the next few weeks. You know, for silage in our area, guys are going to be going back in. Farmers are going to be going back into those chopped off fields with cover crop. As long as rye is your base, so you got something to carry into spring, Hall Pass might be something to look into yet this fall. There's still time. It's the 20th September today, and it's nearly 80 degrees. We've had a full summer this year. We're into the last couple days of summer here. We've had a full summer. There's still some warm weather here in the upper Midwest, Wisconsin, going into next week. Not as warm as it's been the last 2 weeks, but we're still talking 70-some degrees. Still plenty of time, in my eyes, especially with a rye base, to do a food plot yet this fall. Thank you and good luck to you. God bless you all. Keep living the dream.